is it anywhere?
What is going on, guys? Jesse here. So it's been a little bit since our last video on desk related things, so I thought it'd be a good idea to just update you on what's happening by telling you 5 of my favorite desk accessories that I've just honestly been really feeling for the past couple of weeks. And hopefully you'll be able to draw some inspiration for your own setups at home and just make your time there a little bit better. But before we get into that, I want to thank today's video sponsor, Sega Designs. Now, you may have noticed this beautiful timepiece on my wrist, and that is because Sega Designs sent this over, and honestly, I am very impressed. So for pretty much the past year, I've been an Apple Watch user. In fact, I've got it charging right behind me over here, and for the most part, on a day-to-day basis, I really do love the functionality that this gives me. But to be honest, they're just not the most fashionable things. And honestly, since switching to the Apple Watch, I've really been missing the look of a good mechanical watch. And the X Series watch by Sega Designs definitely is exactly that. And if you haven't heard about Sega Designs before, basically they're trying to take all the quality and craftsmanship and design that goes into those European watchmakers, but just offer those at a much lower price that's more accessible to all people. And you can really see the quality in the X Series watch, partially because it's a skeleton design. They have nowhere to hide. You can see all the moving parts inside, which I personally find really cool, and everything is just finished very, very nicely. They've also got their own custom automatic movement in here, which means that the watch charges just by the motion of your wrist while you're walking, which is insane. And honestly, it just looks really cool. I've only worn it out a couple of times and I get compliments every single time. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, make sure to check out them in the link below. So first up on the list is going to be the Screen Bar Halo from BenQ. And this is honestly one of my favorite desk accessories of all time. I've featured it in pretty much every single desk setup that I've ever done, and I probably will feature it in every desk setup continuing going on, because it really is just that nice to have. And I know you may be thinking, Jesse, it's just a lamp. And yeah, you'd be right, but lighting just makes a really big difference in just making your setup a lot more comfortable to be in, both ergonomically and visually. And I really like this lamp in particular because it can light up the surface of your desk without having to take up really any space. And as you can tell, my desk is pretty crowded, so real estate really is at a premium here. It also has an asymmetrical light beam, so you don't get glare on your screen. There definitely is still a little bit, but it's really not that bad, and I don't really find it distracting at all. And this one in particular, the Halo model from BenQ, does have a flat surface on the top, so you can just rest a webcam on there as well. The Halo also has some bias lighting on the back, which has a lot of benefits that I'll actually get into on the next item on the list. But to control it, it comes with a wireless controller that you can use to control temperature, brightness, or just put it into auto mode so it can decide for you. Alright, so staying on the theme of lighting, the next item on the list is going to be the Philips Hue Play Bar. And like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be for bias lighting. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically any light that you put behind the monitor to light up the wall. And that may seem pretty pointless at first, but it actually has a couple of benefits. Our eyes really don't like to have a big disparity between the brightest and darkest part of any image that we're looking at, and your monitor is going to be very bright compared to the dark wall behind that. And having some bias lighting just helps even that out and will cause less eye strain in the long term. And apart from that, it just looks really cool and adds to the whole ambiance of the setup. Now, I have tried some of those cheaper LED light strips from like Govee and that kind of stuff, and honestly, in my experience, they haven't been the best just because of, one, the brightness just not really being enough, and they seem to be incapable of producing white. Like, for whatever reason, on a lot of the cheaper brands, when you press white on the controller, it always comes out with blue. Now, the Play Bars, on the other hand, can make any color that you want, and they are plenty bright. So yeah, they are a little bit expensive, but I think they are worth it. Alright, so next up on the list is going to be the Elgato Wave Mic Arm. So as Zoom calls becoming more and more common, it's important to have good audio so the people that you're talking to don't have to suffer. Like, seriously guys, don't be that guy or girl. And anybody who knows anything about audio knows that putting the mic in the correct position is more important than having a good mic. Like, you can have the best mic in the world, but it's not going to do you any good if it's like 10 feet away from your mouth. And one of the best ways to get the mic in the correct position is of course going to be a mic arm. And this one from Elgato is one of my favorite ones that I've ever used. It's really well built and honestly just really aesthetically pleasing, which for me is definitely a selling point. It's also really well thought out. Like, the clamp that you use to attach attach it to the desk has this ratchet system for the handle, just in case you kind of run into something that you can't turn the handle freely, which I thought was genius. Also, the place that you attach the head is an actual ball head. Like if you've ever used a tripod with one of these, it's pretty much the same as that, so it really allows you to position the mic in any position you want. And the last thing I want to mention is that it comes with this riser, so you can actually come up and over your monitor, which works perfectly for my setup. Elgato also does make a low profile version of this, which I actually also have right here holding the mic that I'm speaking into right now. And it's got a lot of the same features that I really loved on the high profile version, just now in a lower profile. So if this style of arm works better for your setup, then Elgato's got you covered as well. All right, and next up on the list is going to be the super ultra wide monitor. And of course, you guys know I can't do a video on desk accessories and not talk about the super ultra wide monitor. And if you haven't used an ultra wide before, let me try to convince you right now why you might want to consider it. So a normal ultra wide is going to be 21:9, making it perfect for watching movies, which are also shot in 21:9. Now a super ultra wide is going to be a lot wider at 32:9, and you may have noticed that makes it the exact same as having two 16:9 regular wide displays side by side. And if you've ever used dual monitors in the past, you know just how much of a boost in productivity that can give you. But this one is, in my opinion, a lot better because there's no bezel in between, and that gives you the flexibility to also use it just as one super wide ginormous display. So if you have a game that supports it, it's an incredible, super immersive experience, but also if you edit video like I do, it's probably the best experience that you can do that on, because you can see pretty much your whole timeline in one screen, which is just absolutely insane. So the one I have is the 49-inch LG version, which makes it the equivalent of having two 27-inch monitors beside each other. But if that's too big for you, there is a smaller version from a company called Innocent. They sent this over a couple of weeks ago, and honestly, I'm pretty impressed. So instead of 49 inches, it's 44 inches, but it's got that same 32:9 aspect ratio. So you get all of those benefits that I was talking about earlier, just now in a slightly smaller but still pretty large package. And one thing I like about this monitor that's better than the LG one that I'm using is that it's 120 Hertz, so it's just a lot smoother to use. So yeah, choose which one works better for your setup, and I highly recommend this form factor. And last up on the list is going to be the MagFlow iPad stand from ChargeN Pro. So they sent this over to me a long time ago for a video, but ever since then it's been on my desk and I've just really been enjoying it. There's not really any kind of secret features to it or anything. It really is just literally a magnetic stand for your iPad that holds it up a little bit, but just design wise, I think it looks really nice, modern and clean, and you know, all that stuff. And if you have an iPad, I think this is a great way to display it on your desk. And I found that if you like to play iPad games that, you know, require a controller or something like that, then this is probably the best accessory that you can get for it. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it and found some inspiration for your own setups. I'm thinking about maybe doing this like once a month or something like that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Anyways, like if you liked it, sub if you loved it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.